It's the People's Podcast Show with Adrian Biddle, Melissa Bartlett, and your boy, Kerry Bigsby. It's your show, so tell us what you want to talk about. It's the Round Table Podcast Show. What's going on, family? It is another Wednesday, and you know what that means. Yes. It means you get to sit live and direct with the People's Podcast. It is at the Round Table Podcast Show. And yes, we have the melanin mistress up here at the top, my chocolate latte sister, the pit bull in the dress who keeps us in order. I have to introduce her that way, otherwise I get in trouble by my better half.
That's right. That's right.
It is Miss Melissa Bartlett. What's going on, sis?
Hello to our family and our viewers and my brothers and our guests. It is Wednesday. It is hump day. It is halfway day. We made it so far, and we're looking forward to keep going. I am blessed, and I am feeling good, actually. I was a little low on energy. Got me a nice Granny Smith apple, some water, and, of course, doing what you. So I am great. I'm excited about the show tonight.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be live. I can't wait to get this one started as well. But I'd be remiss to not even introduce this brother. My brother from another mother. The man himself, Mr. Adrian A-Money Biddle. And since you got to tell him why we call him A-Money.
Call him A-Money because A-Money always brings the great guests, the great facts, and all the great questions. And when he bring it to you, you can bank on it.
Yes, indeed.
And I appreciate the introduction. I promise that stimulus check refund, a portion of it is going to y'all through Cash App.
I like that. I like that.
But how many checks has it been now?
Yeah, we're a little behind.
Hey, and man, in my my lower left-hand corner, the man that conducts the show, Mr. Coach-Shirt himself, CD.
Family, what's going on? Thank you for joining us on At the Round Table Podcast Show once again. And we get to introduce this amazing brother who has been in the industry for quite some time, and the music has been timeless. I'm going to tell you, this is the one thing I like when I talk to individuals that are in the music industry, especially ones that know music, especially ones that have music that transcends. It's not like one-hit wonders or whatever, but individuals whose own wisdom is imparted on other people as well. And they watch him from afar and say, how can I be like him? And that's that individual we have tonight. So without further ado, I get to introduce Mr. William Green. My brother, what's going on?
Everything's good. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation to be here today. I appreciate you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, William, I'm going to tell you right off, the way we do our show, we're very family oriented. Of course, Pitbull takes charge. We don't get to ask any questions until she gets hers first, because she has some deep ones and she gets to the meat of the matter. So we're going to step back, relax, and I introduce you to Pitbull. Go ahead, Sid.
Oh, wow. William, they make me out to be a little controlling. It sounds like a little bit, right?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not my sister. No.
The first thing that comes to my mind as I'm hearing you being introduced as Pitbull, I'm like, where did they get that name from?
Inquiring minds want to know. Who would like to tell the story?
You tell the story. The story.
I'm not telling the story. A-Money can tell the story. He's so prolific when it comes to the story.
I'm not even going there.
Is it really that interesting of a story that no one is willing to share that?
William, this is the story. I'm a non-nonsense woman, and honestly, I just tell things how it is. I'm a straight shooter, and so when I was introduced to City and A-Money, I'm very nice. I'm pleasant. I like to joke around, but they were able to see that side come out, and they were like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. Once I was introduced to be a part of this platform, I kind of was like, okay, what are we doing? Let's take charge. Where are we going to go? Let's start getting, time book studios. Let's do it. Like, I was about the business. So therefore, the Pitbull in the dress kind of was born between the both of my brothers here. But I am very nice. Very, very patient. However, once it's over, it's over. So that's it. That's the story.
Now I can exhale, because I thought I was going to really hear something serious.
No, it's not that bad at all. It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Well, nonetheless, I just want to say thank you all again for the invitation to be here today. I'm really excited about the show as well.
We are excited too to have you here. I really just want to dive in and get started, because I know you have wonderful stories and wonderful experiences to share about you yourself personally and your contribution to this wonderful music world. So I'm going to jump right in. How did you get started, and what keeps you going?
My start as being a musical artist began at the age of 6 or 7. I'm originally born in Chicago, Illinois. And at the time in which I was growing up, my father, who then was a Baptist minister, and my mom was a church choir director as well as singer, they actually opened the door to my acceptance of being musically gifted, in that there was an organ and a piano at home. And for whatever universal reason that it was for me to be gifted, I was able to come home after church services on a Sunday and musically reproduce everything that I experienced in church earlier that day.
Wow.
Not knowing, anything about the keys on the keyboard or what key I was playing in or anything of that nature. I just relied on what I heard and found the notes on the keyboard and formulated all that. That went on for probably maybe 2 to 3 years, maybe 4 years, up in which when I got to be the age of 10, I was actually able to be the church musician at this particular prominent church in Chicago, which is called Tabernacle Baptist Church. And this church, which was built from the ground up, then was able to accommodate 3,500 people. In fact, the church was so big that it was a church where Sam Cooke's funeral was held.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so also a part of this musical upbringing with regards to my mom being a singer, a background singer at the church, my mom and her sisters for about maybe 3 or 4 years around the Chicago surrounding areas actually sang background vocals for Mahalia Jackson. That environment opened up a door, obviously, to the gospel world, but I also became acquainted with pop music through my dad, who he was also a barber. In addition to being a minister, in addition to working for the government, he was a barber, and he had his own shop in the basement. And this was the area where he was allowed to listen to other music. You hear what I said? I said allowed.
I understand.
Yeah, it was my mom who had the taboo of, you're not supposed to listen to, music outside the church, blah, 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 blah. The whole stereotype of it being, demonic, whatever case may be. But it didn't matter to my dad. This is where my dad played pop music, jazz music, soul music. And here is where I started absorbing these other elements outside of the church. And nonetheless, I would be able to go to the keyboard and emulate, pick up everything that I heard from these other songs. That went on until I got into high school. When I got into high school, I then formulated the understanding of theory in music, knowing the notes, knowing, how to songwrite. I left from Chicago in 1978, coming to Atlanta, Georgia, having graduated from high school in Chicago, and then attending Morehouse College, thinking that Morehouse College was going to enhance my musical career. Unbeknownst to me, that wasn't the case. Morehouse is is great for medicine and maybe certain liberal arts, but music wasn't that area of its specialty. I decided to go to Georgia State University to major in commercial music, which was dealing with law, contractual matters, things of that nature. And it was at that time that I formulated and started writing my own original songs, by which now my career has been quite successful. for 43 years, having been here in Atlanta.
Wow. Yeah. And listening to, I was going to ask if there was any church influence. Listening to the soul and the fullness of the rhythms and the music that you have, and I totally get it and understand. I'm a preacher's kid here, so I know when you allowed to listen to music, when you not, what you supposed to. Sneaking listening to the radio on Saturdays, and that's when they played, from 12 to 2, and you listened to those 2 hours. So yeah, I got it. And having that story and having that history, you can hear it, you can feel it in your music.
Great. That's something that's very important with regards to allowing my music to be distinguishable amongst all of the other music that's out here, whether it's smooth jazz, contemporary jazz, none of which I really subscribe to in terms of a category. I like to subscribe to my music being soul jazz.
Soul jazz.
And soul jazz is only for soldiers.
Okay, you're gonna have to define that now. Go ahead and drop that knowledge on.
Look at the word soul jazz.
Uh-huh.
And I'm saying that soul jazz is really for soldiers. SOLJAZ. Soldiers.
Okay.
Yeah. Soldiers as it pertains to people who are listening and developing their creative styles in a more trench-like atmosphere. Trench-like meaning I'm an independent artist. I'm not looking for a record deal as it pertains to the industry. I'm the record deal. My brand is the record deal. Now, don't get me wrong. The right amount of money and the right legal leverage, I would make that consideration. But at this point, I'm not interested. So I'm crafting my music from a grassroots environment, and the people that enjoy my music will probably have that same mindset. Probably.
Now, do you think that comes from basically, your influences as well as, your background and knowledge in music law? Do you think that helped formulate that, or is that something more along the line of when you were coming up and the music, that you were playing in church and those type of influences? So in other words, versus the George Dukes and such, and your schooling, your education, because music law, did that help formulate that for you to say, you know what, I'm gonna be more grassroots. I'm gonna go within.
I've never thought about it until you asked the question, and now I'm very confident as to say yes.
Okay.
The plethora of knowledge that I was able to attain was, at the time that I was doing it, I felt that it wasn't as valuable then. But I did feel and think that there was going to be a necessity for it at some point in my life, in my career. And now is the actual time by which I wouldn't say that I would not trust the legal counsel of someone, but because I know what is to be asked for or expected, I can now engage in a conversation with someone who's in a negotiating atmosphere with me and know what it is that I'm able to attain within a legal amount of space, as opposed to being green and not knowing anything and just accepting whatever it is that they offer. Now, and again, that's from a legal standpoint. Now, musically speaking, yes, because of the knowledge that I have, it's not important for me to be recognized as on the level as a George Duke or Joe Sample or Robert Glasper. Those individuals are highly respected musical artists. However, because I have developed and crafted my own sound and style like those individuals, now I have the freedom by which to embody that into the packaging of a CD, and know that everything that goes into that is centered around what I was able to attain just through my own level of experience. And I'm going to distribute that, put that out worldwide because of having access to all of the mediums that we now have, without having to rely on Big Brother, to put my stuff out.
Definitely makes sense. Shouts out to everybody that's joining us on At the Round Table. We've got Charlie Twos, Latosha, Carson, Miss Shatoya Arnold, Anthony Craig, Terry Digsby, and Angela P. Moore Thorpe. What's going on, sister? Thank you for joining us tonight. That sister has been instrumental for bringing us William this evening. So our hats off to her. We appreciate you.
Shout out to you, Angela. What's up?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Uh-oh. A-Money. I see the wheels turning in A-Money's brain, sis. You know what that means.
Yeah, I do.
Here it comes.
I'm just hoping that my frame isn't freezing. That's why I've just been listening to the conversations that y'all are having.
It's all good, bro. Even
William,
we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. But William, looking at your bio, something stood out to me while reviewing you online. Now, it states that he, meaning you, is continuously expanding his horizons to make an impact on society by creating a union between music and life. Through his music, he has allowed different genres of contemporary jazz, rhythm, and blues, pop, and gospel to integrate into a new and unique form. Now, I'm not trying to pigeonhole you with this particular question, but is this the next evolution of jazz, in your opinion?
Those particular infusions of all of those genres?
Yes, sir.
The answer is absolutely. And not only is that correct, it's also operating intentionally outside of the line, the box. I say this with laughter and humor, but it speaks to the level of confidence that I have about the knowledge of myself. And that is, as an Aquarian, which I don't know if any of you all are.
There you go. Represent, bro. Represent. Go ahead and drop it on. Get prolific with it.
Yeah, we don't think like the average people. I'm not saying that we are better in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But what's better about us is the knowledge of knowing that the way in which we think works best for us without having to feel like we have to conform to somebody or fit in. Now, it took me a long time to get to that point. And a lot of that, my sister, comes from the fact of being in a PK environment. I have the utmost respect for my father, who is no longer living physically, but in knowing that as a PK and as a PK in a Black family structure, we were sheltered. We were pulled away from certain aspects of society that are just as important as elementary school. It's just as important as a library. Now, we as children don't know that. The parent knows that, but they make the choice in which to deter the child from certain things. Well, now that I have come to that confident level in my life, it is that intention, my brother, that I wanted to fuse these various genres together, which are merely mirror experiences of my life. Every aspect of the musical spectrum that you just shared are parts of my musical experience. What better way to express a person's creativity with regards to their art than to combine life and art together? And so that's where I then speak on the platform known as soul jazz, which is nothing, and it's almost like a related kin to neo soul, neo jazz. You know what I'm saying? It's just another twist. I like the word soul though, because as a Black man, as a man of melon, it is the soul that is attached to the universal dynamic of expression.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I want my music to have value and resonate with people.
I like that. And see, when Leos
Okay.
talk about being, having their own way of thinking, we're considered positive. But I'm just going to leave that out there. William, I think if you haven't, if you do, I will be ordering my T-shirt that says "Soul Jazz is for soldiers." I'm waiting for that T-shirt.
Now hold that thought, because I did want to say, as I was talking, with the understanding of knowing that we are, out amongst the world. Mm-hmm. That's my baby, and I do plan on having that patent within the next 30 days.
Yes, please do.
I'm just gonna put that out there.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Somebody's gonna bite after it, I know. But the fact that you just spoke what has been spoken to the universe as it pertains to the T-shirt is a confirmation that it is in alignment. Yes.
I will be wearing it proudly.
I know. Thank you, right. Definitely getting 2, 3 of them right there. That's dope right there.
That's it. That's what's going on. Yes.
All right. So, Pitbull, can I ask one? I got one.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So, I love jazz, and I listen to your music as well, brother. So, yes, I had to ask this question. There's always one particular piece that catches me, and I have to always ask the artist, what was the thought process behind it? So the one that I'm gonna ask you about is "When We Love."
Oh, man, you know what? It speaks for itself, and I'm so thankful that I'm living to be able to give an answer to that question. I wrote that song, my brother, 1 year, not a year, 1 year prior to the pandemic. I don't use the word pandemic.
Oh, okay.
I use the word plandemic.
Okay.
Okay. And that doesn't make me, final say so about it. That's my own personal assessment with regards to how I see it.
That's right.
With that song, I then was experiencing some of the life dynamics that I think was going on around the world. One of which was George Floyd. There was another incident that had really captured me. And so as I was driving in the car one afternoon, I heard the melody in my head of the chorus. And I had another artist in mind that I thought would be really good to sing it. And I'll be honest with you, I still want to present that song and let Peebo Bryson hear it. I used to work for Peebo for about 20 years. And even though I knew once I had finished formulating the lyrics, it wasn't a song that I felt comfortable or confident that Peebo would sing, because I don't know, lyrically, it doesn't fall in the guise of some of the things that he's released. But it then took on another life of its own with regards to, well, I needed something on the CD that was going to take a diversion, if you will, from the music versus the thought, the lyric, the idea, the message, if you will. That's how that song was born.
Wow, I love that song. I ain't gonna lie.
Thank you, brother.
I mean, your music is, it's something in which you can play from the beginning to the end. I'm just gonna tell you, and I'm just one of those type of guys in which if you can't go through it, if I gotta grab pieces of it, okay, that's cool. Man. But if you can listen to it straight through while you riding or you vibing or doing some artwork or whatever, that says a lot about the artist.
I'm so humbled, brother, to hear that, and with the consideration that we have yet to release the actual CD. So what you have been hearing is it's a single release from the CD,
right?
And which I'm still actually mixing it. I just left the studio a little while ago, so that when I put it on the CD, it'll have a whole different quality. But just for you to say that, brother, and trust me when I tell you all this, 2 things with that. As a musical artist, I'm always in some way or another being complimented about something. You know, and may I say that I've learned that maybe 75% of those compliments are BS. maybe. I'm just saying, you know, because I can't live a life, you know, with smoke being blown up my head. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm about the truth and the honesty. So for you to say that, it means value. The other thing is this. I'm very confident as a musical artist, a pianist. My level of confidence is a work in progress with regards to me being a singer, a vocalist. I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm not embarrassed to say it. And I actually feel good about saying it because I'm opening the door by which I'm becoming a better vocalist. Okay. So again, for you to honor me by saying that you appreciate and value that song, brother, thank you.
Oh yeah, it's serious, and I'll tell everybody right now, if you get a chance, pick up Mind Rush. That's all I'm gonna say.
Brother, you making my entire month right now. So
right there.
Yeah, I listen to jazz. So I mean, and it means a lot to me, you know, when we get the opportunity to talk to artists such as yourself, to kind of like share these things, those little behind the scenes, because that information you're giving is going to hit somebody else out there. And, you know, it may be an upcoming performer, artist, vocalist, pianist, whatever it is. And I'm hoping that this show right here allows them the opportunity to say, how can I be like that? How can I stand the test of time? How can I have music that is timeless and not just a one-hit wonder? Because we're in a microwave society right now. So I appreciate that from you.
Yes, absolutely. I am a person that I craft, William, so I need sometimes a jolt to my inspiration. I need a jolt to my creativity. And so I was raised with, even though I was raised in the church, my mother had a collection album collection that's crazy, from Isaac Hayes to Sam Cooke to, I mean, just she had the music that she loved, period. And so I was raised with all types of genres in my home, from classical to jazz to opera to, you know, pop to rock. My mother never put me in a box, per se. And so if she was playing it, it was okay to listen to. Let me add that. If she played it, it was okay. But me putting something on, I think I was like in middle school when I had my radio freedom.
Okay.
So I wanted to say that as a person who is a listener or consumer, a lot of artists don't understand when we are listening or we purchase the music, the expectation that different expectations that people have, from feeling better to, you know, healing a wound. For me, no matter what type of music it is, I'm looking for it to bubble my creativity, my inspiration. And I can say with the beautiful pieces that I've listened to of yours, it is constantly something that it resonates in your ear, not just in your mind, but in your ear. And that's that difference that sets you apart. That's the difference. Yes, there's a number of jazz artists out here, but it's something about it. It sets you apart because you have that in the ear. And when that song goes off, you are still feeling the vibrations from what you listen to. And so I just wanted to add my accolades to your gift, and what you blessed us with so far, because it definitely, truly is a gift, and it's a privilege that you share it. And you said that you wrote the song with someone else in mind. How many of your pieces you may have started off with the intent for someone else, and you said, I got to keep that one with me?
Let's say over the last 3 years of writing and wanting to present my work to different artists. I would say now maybe 65% of what I would want to present to someone. Well, out of the whole 100%, 65% I then reconsider to, use for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And to how do I say this? I like the challenge of presenting my songs to another artist, both from the standpoint of seeing what their work dynamic is. Here we go, work dynamic, meaning, I don't want to put too much information out. No, I won't do that. I'll say this. Okay, so there's an incredibly successful jazz saxophonist who I am engaged in collaborating with. This gentleman has recorded easily maybe 10 or 15 CDs, and his track record speaks for himself. When I told him that I wanted to present something to him, he opened the door and allowed me to submit something to him. It took maybe 2 weeks to get a response from him, which is incredible as far as time goes. Another artist that I've submitted a song to, who I submitted a song to as much as 6 months ago, ain't heard from them. So I use that as and I'm not holding people hostage about the life dynamics of, not having time to look at your email, not having time to respond to someone, but I have to hold you hostage to the fact that as business people that we all are, you're really obligated to, in a reasonable amount of time, reasonable is within a week, to respond to an individual. And so if my response becomes, weathered by whatever else is going on in your life, which again, I don't disrespect that. I just have to look at my own life. Then I'm ready to move on, like you, my sister. Time is valuable. My life is valuable. My creativity is valuable. And sometimes, I become successful. There's some situations that it doesn't work, So, but I like the craft itself of submitting songs to a potential artist that I hear in my head, because it just helps me to enhance, what I'm already doing. And if I find that it's not working for that individual, meaning they choose to not like the song or they didn't get back to me, that is a universal sign for me to know, go ahead and do it myself.
Yeah, courtesy. His deal is there.
Yeah. Professionalism.
Yep. Yes,
so
brother.
William, this is an opinion question right here.
Yes, sir.
Now, soul jazz and other jazz genres, I remember listening to my local radio stations, and they allotted at least a portion of the day. Mine was Sunday, where they were a couple of hours of jazz songs, and pretty much putting jazz artists out there in the mainstream. Nowadays, you don't really get that exposure in media as much as what it used to be years ago. So right. I'm saying that to say this: what do you think the underlying issue why jazz isn't being put in the media like it used to anymore?
That's a great question, and the most immediate answer that comes to my mind is it, just like other creative and artistic mediums, are viewed upon by a group of people that do not want this organic art form to thrive. Why is that? Because of the connotations that it is connected to. What are those connotations? It's connected to us, the originators of this art form. Thus, you then get the whoever it was, the people or person who coined smooth jazz. There is nothing about jazz that is smooth. Nothing. That word should not even be associated with jazz. Now, here's the reason why I say that. From a musical perspective, when you hear and use the word smooth jazz, it allows that individual, whoever the artist is, to in some way or another present something that is not for your necessarily musical, artistic taste, more so than for your emotional comfortability.
Wow.
You want to be able to hear something that just makes you think that everything is just so nice and it's so comfortable and it's so pure and it's so right. All of which is not true. That's not the real definition of most people's lives. White, black, blue, green, whoever it is. But it only helps those individuals whose life is like that, whether it be you got plenty of money, you got plenty of access, you got plenty of resources, you own everything, you know what I'm saying? Then it becomes easy for you to use that platform. I think that is the true dynamic, because not only do you not hear radio stations open the door and play that, you don't even have as many radio stations, period, who embrace jazz music. And if they do, they're going to always find some kind of way to modify it, change it around, polish it up to make sure that the financial entities that are supporting the station feel good about the continuation of it.
Drop that knowledge on us, didn't you?
I appreciate that insight.
Yes, I love it. The truth. I love when it's the truth.
I'm just speaking based on my own experience, what I've witnessed, what I've seen, and I've heard from other, music artists. They feel the same way. May I speak to that thought too, brother? I regret that as many, and I got to do more research, but I say this based on what I see. We don't have enough Black wealthy individuals to formulate these platforms, musical platforms that allow this art form to continue. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't exist, but their existence is being obscured by these larger platforms. I don't think that there are too many quote unquote Black-owned radio stations on the planet that solely want to promote the continuation of this art form. But I can think of 10, 20, credible artists that fall under that, guys, that I would think that would have done it by now. One of which comes to mind is Wynton Marsalis. The list goes on and on. And maybe he's doing it in another genre. But to speak to your point as to why you brought that to my attention as it relates to radio, no, brother, it's too much of a reminder of our level of historical creativity.
And I've always said that so many times that I don't care how much they give back. You're still feeding into supporting things that are not going to benefit Blacks or not going to benefit those who aren't the majority of that 1%. You're not putting the money where it matters, where it may not be a return on your investment right away in a monetary form, but it will be a return on your investment that your people will then have something to eat from, to gain knowledge from. These are the things that I struggle and question those who have made it, who are financially gifted, that they're not investing in the things that we can maybe pass down to our ethnic groups and have true generational wealth. It is amazing. It is definitely amazing, from TV shows to radio shows and music. I mean, from music concerts to, I mean, the pandemic has shown so many different avenues that you can take now. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll see 2020, end of 2021, 2022, where we'll have more of those outlets and those platforms available.
Something that caught my attention, and again, as an addition to the answer to your initial question, my brother, what's interesting about that scenario is that even though we don't have these outlets, not just for us as Black people, but we should as Black people, because again, we're the creators of this, and then in doing so, we're opening the door for it to be made available to other races of people. I mean, we're not that kind of people to just hold on to stuff for ourselves. If it works for us, we pretty much feel good about knowing, hey, it'll work for you. You Asian, whatever, Caucasian, Italian, you're a human being. It'll work. But what is interesting is that you will see now more artists who are of other nationalities, races, if you will, who get more attention, more accessibility in this same art form. Not to mention, you will have more people of other races who support financially, going to live concerts. You got more people that know more about Black music than we do. The Asian community, the Asian population, especially in Japan, overseas, they know more about our music and can't really even speak our language well. But they can, when that song comes on, they know how to say those words.
Yep.
When that musical part happens, whatever that musical part is, if you don't play that musical part in your live show, when you come to their hometown, wherever, you will be pretty much ostracized from coming back. Why? Because they have already affixed that in their brain. That's a part of what they've studied. We are studied by other people. We are researched by other people. We're revered by other people. But we ourselves, we do not have that same type of passion about what it is that we have and what makes us valuable. So the thing about, a radio station not putting no emphasis on it, man, that's just for us to be distracted. And so we say to ourselves, oh man, they ain't really putting no energy. I ain't gonna try to, come craft something that's gonna be creative. I'm just gonna take the easy route and play some of those simple hunky dory. I said it, yes I did. Simple, blah 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 blah, and then put a stamp on it, smooth jazz, bam, and give it some old kind of generic title. Something has to have more relevance in it, in our art. We have to. We just have to. I didn't watch the Grammys this year intentionally, and I'm glad I did. Because based on what I just heard and been seeing, what? For what? For a paycheck? You got to be crazy. All money ain't good money.
Woo!
That's true.
Yes, it is.
That's true.
And it's frustrating. It is so frustrating because the art itself is a wonderful blend of music and it has such historic context. So for a lack of better words, to be sitting on the shelf and not being exposed to the community like it should is really, I find it really unjust.
It's and again, we're speaking of the musical creative side of it. That same energy exists in every facet of human existence, especially in America. But it exists, and it's not existing just because, like a cloud. No, there is some controlling factor that's manipulating this. Now, this ain't no QAnon theory. This ain't no hocus pocus. This for real. It's just as real as I am sitting here. So until we get to a point where, and of course, it depends on what we value. Until we get to a point where we see the importance of that, it's going to dwindle. It's going to dwindle, and in that dwindling, the lack of musical credibility, creativity will dwindle as well. That's why all the music that you listen to right now pretty much sounds the same.
Yes, that's true. Yes,
Pretty much.
I don't know when one goes off and another one comes on.
Yep.
And that's the design. You know what I'm saying? To keep you in this one little tunnel, everything one right there, everything right there. And when you start to move away from that, then you don't get the kind of support that you need. You don't get the kind of attention or respect, if you will. Yep. But at the end of the day, you know, that's the reason why, brother, to answer your question.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
We got a question for you, and it's interesting because you mentioned radio, and this popped up from Anthony Craig. He said, where were you when you first heard your music on the radio, and how did you feel?
Yeah, I saw that right there.
That's interesting.
I was here in Atlanta, Georgia, that's for sure. And we have a very popular radio station here in Atlanta, which is a jazz station, WCLK. It's affiliated with Clark Atlanta University. And it has a rich history. I think they're now about to celebrate their 48th year this year in existence. I've had a relationship with that radio station since 1983, 84-ish, with just knowing the personnel, the staff. But the first song that I was actually able to have them to play was from my first CD, which the name of the first CD is called Magic Dream. And the song that they put in their rotation is called Street Preacher. And I remember I was about to go, I was doing a military tour with the sons of Otis Redding. He's got two boys, and we're about to do a military tour in Europe somewhere. And I was leaving the rehearsal in my car, happened to cut the car on, and bam! What an awesome feeling, you know, to hear your work on a radio station. And one of the things that blows me away with this, and I'll make it real quick. When I was a kid growing up, we were driving to church one Sunday morning. I try to envision this: mom, dad in the middle, riding in a Rambler. I don't know if you all are old enough to know what a Rambler is.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So in the back seat were four of us: myself, my younger brother, the oldest girl, and then what would have been her sister. And I remember hearing, you know, music on the radio, and for some reason I asked my dad, I said, Dad, how is it that they can get all those people inside that little box? Now, not knowing that what you're listening to is a recording, my mind is just thinking about human beings. How does that work? It was from that experience that has now still made me humbled by which to hear my recordings on radio, on a CD. I mean, to know that the time that's invested, the money that's invested, allows a person to be able to hear, you know, this work. It still has the same effect on me.
All right, Anthony, hope you enjoyed that right there. I'm telling you, he's dropping wisdom. Golly.
And it just from experience. And guys, may I ask, I'm supposed to make another commitment at 7:00. Would you all allow me maybe to come back at a later time and wish to spend more time with you all?
Certainly.
Absolutely.
Man, that's without said. All we got to, we'll let Angela know to let you know, or you let us know, we let Angela know, and we'll make this definitely happen. This has been a blessing right here.
I want to keep my reputation intact with regards to being a man of my word. If I say I'm going to do something, I want to honor what I say.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Well, William, before you go, be respectful and a good steward of your time. Please let our listeners and our viewers know how to follow you. And if there's anything that you have coming up or out that you would like for us to be on the lookout for.
Sure. I'm on all of the social media platforms: Facebook as William Green, Instagram. I'm not sure. I think we're on Twitter as well. You can find me at williamgreenmusic.com. Again, that's williamgreenmusic.com. I also do a Sunday radio show, internet radio show, which is on JPRG, Jack Robert Paul George, JPRG Radio, Sunday afternoons between 4 and 6 p.m. It's called Sunday Renaissance and Soul Jazz with yours truly.
Okay.
For those individuals who may be in the Atlanta area or the surrounding area, I am currently doing a artist residency at the world-renowned live music venue known as Cafe 290. Cafe 290, classy, music venue. I'm performing there every weekend on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. I do 2 shows, 9 and 10:45. Along with that, just go to the website, williamgreenmusic.com. I usually post my shows on that. And my publicist, big shouts out to APM Angela Moore. She always knows how to find me and where you can connect with me as well.
Sounds like a road trip, guys.
Sounds like a road trip to me. I'm loving it. We get to talk to them about that trap pop and a couple other things. And, yes, indeed.
My man.
Yes. Well, William, thank you once again for joining us. We definitely want to be cognizant of your time. We appreciate you sharing this with us, and we're going to make sure that we let everybody know about what's going on with your music. Shatoya said best wishes and thank you for that.
Thank you, my sister. Thank you.
Podcast. Family, what do y'all think?
I'm looking up hotel rooms for Atlanta. That's what I think.
She don't play. She does not play.
I do Atlanta anyway, and I'm very familiar with Cafe 290. So
And may I say, my sister, after this point, I am going to recognize you as Miss Pitbull.
Oh. Thank you.
Oh,
thank you.
Oh, well.
Pitbull by itself ain't gonna work. I got to dress that up a little bit.
I need to add the Miss.
So going forward, that's the name.
Miss Pitbull.
Miss Pitbull. Yes.
All right.
I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother. We appreciate it. Y'all heard it first here on the People's Podcast Show. Y'all, thank you for joining us, and we will see you the next time. Y'all be good.
Right. Bye-bye.
Peace.